sport, accessible by virtually everyone. It's the simplest way to experience the freedom of flight that man has ever invented. Imagine flying without limits or borders. No barriers around you, no cockpit, no roaring engine. A flight when you literally feel the air with the brake toggles in your hands. It's easy to soar with a paraglider, finding warm air currents and being lifted to the clouds. All you need for this is a paraglider, sunny weather, and a slight breeze. However, some important conditions must always be met. A slope suitable for takeoff and finding thermals, or a winch that would tow the pilot to the required altitude. Unfortunately, such prerequisites for a good flight are hard to find. Spending several hours getting to a flying site is too often the norm for paragliding pilots. Even if there's a proper hill or a winch towing team nearby, flying away to the clouds can be very challenging. The wind may be blowing from the wrong direction, or it may be too weak. There may be a cloud hovering over the slope and casting a huge shadow, suppressing the thermals. Even if the weather offers excellent thermic conditions, pilots often remain grounded, having to wait for the correct conditions to take off. Regrettably, para-waiting is a big part of paragliding. Of course, you can always use a regular paramotor to take off, but a heavy paramotor unit with a bulky frame and an open harness spells an uncomfortable upright sitting position and spoils the beauty of free flight. A massive protective frame with a large propeller creates significant drag and negatively affects aerodynamic efficiency. Thermaling with a traditional paramotor is like racing a tractor. We are proud to introduce you to the PowerPod, a revolutionary paramotor pod harness. It is the first pod harness in the world with a very compact and lightweight paramotor ideally optimized for free flight. With the PowerPod, you can take off from any level terrain, rise up to the clouds, and then keep flying with the motor switched off as in a traditional pod. Never before has a paramotor undergone such thorough adaptation for free flight.
Our
paramotor is intended for those paraglider pilots who don't like flying with a motor, but prefer thermaling and cross-country flying. Its main purpose is to lift the pilot to a required altitude where he can catch a lift and start thermaling. After that, the paramotor should not interfere with the pilot's flying. That's why its design drastically differs from that of traditional paramotors. It is specially optimized for free flying. There are a few unique features of our paramotor. First, it has an extremely small propeller, which is completely hidden behind the pilot's back. That's why it doesn't create unnecessary drag in flight. The propeller diameter is just ½ meter, whereas in traditional paramotors, the propeller normally exceeds 1 meter in diameter, not including the frame. We have designed a special ducted fan optimized for this application. As a result of this optimization, the propeller efficiency has been dramatically increased, and the thrust generated by the propeller is quite sufficient for a good climb rate, even with the propeller completely shadowed by the pilot's back. The introduction of a ducted fan also produced quite a beneficial side effect. Safety has been significantly improved, especially in turbulent air. The propeller is completely encased inside the duct, and there is absolutely no problem if a paraglider line accidentally falls on it. You can even touch the duct with a bare hand while the engine is running. The second unique feature of our paramotor is the capability to change the position of the pilot's back during takeoff and in flight. When flying a traditional paramotor, the pilot sits in the harness virtually upright, which is quite uncomfortable, as if he is sitting on a stool. It also creates unwanted drag and hampers aerodynamic efficiency. This is because the axis of propeller rotation should be parallel to the ground. Otherwise, there is a danger of getting a twist caused by propeller torque reaction. What we implemented in our design is a thrust vectoring system. During takeoff, the propeller axis is perpendicular to the pilot's back to enable him to take off easily, while in flight, the engine is reclined, and the pilot's back is placed into a comfortable reclined position. The axis of rotation stays horizontal for maximum safety. The third feature of our paramotor is a streamlined leg fairing, also with minimal drag and maximum comfort. In this respect, the pilot won't even notice the difference from a traditional pod harness. To minimize weight and improve aesthetics, our paramotor uses carbon fiber and other light materials. It's a modern cutting-edge design. No tubes or strings, only composites, carbon fiber, and Kevlar. Finally, it is very compact, and it doesn't require assembly and disassembly on site. You're ready to fly within minutes. We've spent a great deal of time and effort on research, trials, engineering, and computer modeling of the ducted fan. Not everything worked out well from the beginning. We tested it over and over again. The unit required fine-tuning and engineering changes, as well as efforts to optimize the design and improve aerodynamic performance. The result was remarkable. We checked and fine-tuned the engine with the ducted fan. We also tested its performance in various operating modes. Also, we resolved a lot of issues related to the application of composite materials in the paramotor structure that the manufacturers had not faced before. For example, the propeller in the duct is rotating with a clearance of only a few millimeters. This is necessary to ensure its maximum efficiency. Any contact of the propeller with the duct would result in its immediate destruction. So we had to engineer an extremely small propeller clearance while the engine is running, and we succeeded. We have created a prototype of the PowerPod unit that features innovative solutions and addresses all the key issues that we faced while creating this new type of paramotor pod harness. Soon we plan fine-tuning the PowerPod design to prepare it for mass production. We will work out the technology required for producing all the components, as well as thorough testing of our innovative paramotor pod harness. We believe that the PowerPod concept will bring true freedom to paraglider pilots. With the PowerPod, you will be able to fly where you want and where it's possible, without depending on slopes, mountains, or winches. Weather permitting, you'll always be able to fly away and soar under the clouds.